Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDN TV Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button and be the first to get notifications.
Governor Nyesom Wike stirred up a hornet's nest last week when he challenged his colleagues in the other oil-producing states to give accounts of how they have utilized full payment of 13% oil derivation funds by the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Governor Wike's comment on the 13% oil derivation fund by state governments has generated several reactions, as our correspondent now reports.
Governor Nyesom Wike had a very busy schedule recently as he went about commissioning several projects in Rivers State. At the commissioning of the Nabo Graham Douglas campus of the Nigerian Law School in Port Harcourt, Governor Wike had attributed his giant strides in infrastructure development to the magnanimity of President Muhammadu Buhari, who recently approved payment of arrears of 13% derivation funds owed oil-producing states in the Niger Delta since 1999. The Rivers State governor had challenged governors of other oil-producing states to account for the utilization of the funds made available to them recently.
Monies that were not paid to us in 1999, Buhari has approved that money to be paid to the states of the Niger Delta. Let every state come and account. Let every state come and account. I hear that this money has been paid to you. What do you use? I, as the governor of Rivers State, I can account for it.
Governor Wike's comments have so far elicited reactions from state governments in the Niger Delta. Edo State says till date, it has received a total of 2.1 billion naira, paid in 3 installments of 700 million naira. Speaking for Governor Godwin Obaseki, Edo State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, Joseph Eboegbe, said the paltry amount received was an insignificant fraction of the 28 billion naira the state was entitled to from the total of 1 trillion naira due 9 oil-producing states as shortfalls in 13% derivation funds. In the same vein, the government of Delta State has debunked Governor Wike's claim that the federal government had made full payment of 13% derivation funds owed states in the Niger Delta. Delta State Commissioner for Finance, Fidelis Tilije, while briefing journalists recently in Asaba, said out of the 240 billion naira to be refunded to the state, it had received 14.7 billion naira in 3 quarterly installments of 4.9 billion naira each.
Let me state very categorically again that the 4.9 that is paid quarterly now for the first year is for 4 quarters. Subsequently, after the 4 quarters, the amount that will be due to Delta State in the next 4 years after the 1 year of the 4 quarters will be 12.9 billion naira on a quarterly basis. But have we been able to assess that? The answer is no.
In the meantime, the government of Akwa Ibom State has denied misappropriating its own share of the 13% derivation fund. Dr. Nsikan Nkan, the State Commissioner for Finance, in a press statement observed that the arrears from the 13% derivation are duly reflected in the 2021 budget and supplementary budget of the same year. Not a few Niger Deltans have been reacting to Governor Wike's recent comments on the utilization of 13% derivation by state governors in the Niger Delta. Harry Udom, chairman of Akwa Ibom Civil Society Organizations, and engineer Arotoho Isuoso, a political commentator, say they find merit in Governor Wike's observation.
We didn't know that the federal government has been paying back, according to Wike, monies withheld since 1999 to the Niger Delta states. And indeed, when you look at what Wike is also doing in Rivers State with that money, you begin to ask the question, where is our money?
To whom much is given, much is expected. In states like the Niger Delta State that have more money, we expect to see the difference in what is on ground compared to those who are barely surviving as states.
However, Sylvester Osigwe, a development analyst, rejects the 13% derivation benchmark as grossly inadequate to transform a region that has been battered by untold environmental pollution and abject poverty for several decades. While calling for judicious application of such funds for the time being, Osigwe says the operation of fiscal federalism would better serve the development needs of the Niger Delta in the long run.
The states or region, as the case may be, should be in charge of their resources should be in charge of the management and just pay taxes to the center. States develop themselves, create wealth for themselves, become relevant for themselves, and become better, create welfare, educate, whatever you needed for your citizens to have. This is what should happen.
Section 162, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended provides that 13% of revenues derived from mineral-producing states be paid to communities producing such minerals through their state governments. The bone of contention over the impact of these funds on the well-being of oil-producing communities in the Niger Delta since 1999 has dwelt on their significance on the region's development and their utilization by state governments. The expectation is that the dust raised by Governor Wike's recent comments will provide a point of convergence in the debate on financial prudence by state governments in the Niger Delta and their demand for an upward review of the 13% derivation benchmark, which they consider inadequate to cater for their development needs.
Inside the Niger Delta,